Hello, internet friends of the internet. Today I'm kicking off vlogging again. I don't know, I'm filming 2 videos at once right now. I think transitioning back into the bins has been a little difficult for me to figure out a good filming routine, and I feel like even though it's technically vlogging, it's also like all I do right now is the bins. So I'm gonna show you guys pieces of that, and that's mainly what this video is gonna consist of. But I do have a couple things that I have to talk to you guys about. That's some pretty big news. So instead of making you wait for the end of the video, I'm just gonna jump right into it. Major life update coming up very, very soon. I'm moving. It's finally happening. I've dropped some hints there and there about the fact that I'm moving, but I've never actually come out and said where I'm moving to or when I'm moving. But Florida, here I come, making it happen. Can't believe that it's happening. And I still have T-minus 2 months till the move is absolutely official. But yeah, your girl's gonna be living in Florida here very, very shortly. The official move is in September. So again, I still have a couple months to kind of get things organized and get things in motion. But man, I feel like these next couple months are just gonna fly by. So I feel like it's probably better to talk about it now because things are just gonna get so insanely stressful for me. Still can't believe it's happening, but Florida is gonna happen sooner than later. And I'm excited to share it with you guys. I think it's absolutely fascinating that I've gone from thrifting in Los Angeles to thrifting in Las Vegas, and now I'm going to experience thrifting in Florida. And I think it's a really cool case study in how thrifting is across the country. I feel like in LA, it was so different, and in Las Vegas, it was also just as equally different, and I think the same thing's gonna happen in Florida. But I think the good thing is, you just have to find your rhythm, and you gotta find what is mostly available in whatever city you're in. I just remember people always telling me that I had so much available for me in Los Angeles, and you know, it's such a different place to thrift. And although they were right, I do think there are crazy differences in each city that you go to, and you can find what works for you kind of thing. Like I felt like when I was in LA, I had to kind of step out of my niche and I couldn't really thrift as much vintage as I would have liked to. And since I've moved back home to Las Vegas, I do think the vintage out here is a little more readily available. So that's kind of been a little nice to like revive my vintage life, I guess you could say. But it'll be interesting. I mean, Florida is definitely known for vintage, but I don't know what to expect. I'm going in kind of blind to the whole situation. I'm just not, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's gonna happen. But I'm here for the adventure, and I hope you guys will be too. Today though, I am filming another video, another thrift with me, because even though I'm doing vlogs here and there, you guys are still gonna get the regular thrift with me. It's like dedicated thrift with me's. So I'm also going to be filming that. It's like a Sandy Liang / Doan dupe video, I hope. I mean, if I don't find anything that's that, I have to rename it. It's a little like secret tricks of the trade, but that's what I'm hoping to thrift today. So I'm gonna get started on that, but I just thought I would drop that like bombshell of an announcement on you guys. Orlando, Florida, man. Going from dry heat to major humidity, and my skin is pumped for that. As someone who deals with eczema and just overall dry skin issues, very excited for Florida. Very, very excited. A quick little OOTD on a very messy mirror. This is a Sandy Liang dress that I thrifted at Savers, and it's literally one of my favorite pieces in my wardrobe now. If you don't know about Sandy Liang, definitely recommend looking her up. She is a fantastic designer, makes just like the most whimsical, beautiful clothes. And this is a dupe of a necklace that I really like on her website right now. It's obviously, you know, it's brandless. I don't know what it is, but I'm loving the chunky silver necklace trends right now. I am just digging that look so much. And then, of course, had to ruin it with my New Balance. But these are officially my thrifting shoes. I just feel like they are so worn in, so beat up at this point, and I desperately need new shoes. But you know what? That's going to have to wait till I get to Florida. And they're probably going to have to be rainproof. It has officially been 2 weeks since I've gone to Savers. That's a long time for me. And the craziest part is I won't be here for much longer, and Florida does not have a Savers. So I am going to have to make the most of these last few months as far as Savers go. But I am kind of excited to break up with Savers in the sense that, man, it can drain your bank account if you are not careful. And I feel like for someone who keeps toggling back and forth between bins and Savers, I do realize the beauty in the bins. And when summer rolls around and it is so slow sales-wise, it's so much safer to kind of play both areas. But I am gonna miss Savers. I'm gonna miss it so much, to the point that don't be surprised if I take some trips home specifically just to go to Savers. That's how much I love it. I was out of town to find myself a way to get myself out of this world. You were not about, and I blame. This chair is so squeaky. I'm actually leaving so much of this stuff behind because my whole setup already came from LA, and I feel like a lot of it has just been like worn in to the extent that it can be. So I think I'm gonna end up leaving so much of this stuff behind. And luckily for me, my niece is taking like some of the pieces. Like I'm finally getting rid of my old backdrop. She's gonna take that. She's gonna take my mirror and just all that random stuff. So I have an Amazon cart kind of going that I'm collecting things that I'm gonna need as soon as I get to Florida. So that feels good. I feel like I'm living my life like a teenager right now. I feel like I'm going back and forth between my sister's house and my parents' house. So I feel like I'm like split custody kind of thing, and I'm just going back and forth. And it feels so funny, but it's also kind of nice to spend this much time with family. Like I've had 2 years to just lean into being with family. But my parents are the ones who made the final decision to move to Florida, so I'm actually moving with them. I feel like that's worth mentioning because I was still paying off my move from LA. So to put that into perspective, like moving is not cheap by any means. And the fact that I have done 2 major moves in the last 2 years, it just feels like, I'm sure to other people watching, it maybe looks so easy and seamless, but it is so expensive. Like I know in the back of my head, once I get to Florida, I better like it because I don't think I'm gonna go anywhere for quite a while. I'm either going to be stuck there or I am going to be begging my sister to take me back in Las Vegas. So yeah, it's kind of this really weird, strange limbo thing. It always makes me laugh a little bit because when I first started this YouTube channel, I was living on my own. I was alone in Los Angeles. Like we're talking alone. For the first 6 months that I lived in Los Angeles, I had a roommate. And after that, I was completely alone. I lived in a studio apartment for 10 years. And then for 1 year, I did a stint in a 2-bedroom. And the 2-bedroom was really what pushed me over the edge. I was like, I can't afford to do a 2-bedroom by myself. So I came crawling home. But I just think it's really interesting that I decided to continue filming in this point in my life where I feel like I don't represent my age group, as funny as that sounds. But I don't think that's really as rare as we are led to believe it is. You know, there's a lot of people now in my age group that are living at home or are living with relatives of some sort. So I don't know, I try and not beat myself up too much, but it has been a pretty weird feeling. And I'm transitioning into still living with my family in Florida. So I don't know. I mean, I know nobody asks me this stuff and nobody's really prying into my life, but I just, like, sometimes it's just nice to keep that kind of stuff real because, let's be honest, like, the internet is just full of so many people flexing and making it look like life is so easy and living in a, 2-bedroom apartment in Los Angeles by themselves. Like, man, it's like one of those, I just have to come back down to reality sometimes and just show you guys, like, that's my life right now. I was always wondering if I should do a dedicated video on this, but when I was living alone, especially during the pandemic and then the year following that was just one of the darkest chapters of my life, like, easily. Like, I'm far enough removed from it now where I feel like I can openly talk about it, but a lot of it, like, I've privated some of those videos that I put out during that time period because it just felt so not like myself. Like, it just was not me at all. And I think especially during that time period, I saw so many videos start to pop up on YouTube about people living alone. Like, this whole thing about living alone diaries and just, like, almost glamorizing the idea behind it. And although it is nice, like, trust me, I know I will reach a point in my life again where I'm like, I either need to move in with my significant other or I need to live alone again. But there are so many elements to it that can get so lonely and just so toxic if you fall into the wrong patterns. And the pandemic definitely forced me to recognize all of those bad patterns that I had already started to create and then just, like, lean into the longer I was by myself. I always thought about doing a separate video on it, but it just never felt like it fell into, like, the niche that I'm in. So it didn't really feel like it made sense. But for someone who was alone for 11 years, I feel like I could totally talk about that in depth. So I am headed over to my parents' house here pretty shortly. I'm gonna go over there, and this is when, so far my new schedule has been like 2 days over here thrifting regular stores, and then I go hard at the bins for 3 days. So that's kind of my game plan. I'm headed over to my parents' house to start my bin rotation, if you will. But before I leave, I picked out a couple pieces for myself. This is normally how I roll, where, like, I'll hold a couple pieces off to the side and be like, am I keeping this? I don't know. Is that a good idea? So I'm going to try on some pieces and decide if I want to put them in my personal wardrobe or if I want to sell them. Another quick tangent, because I collect so much clothing, I legit don't know how influencers do it, like people who get free PR. It must feel so overwhelming. And I've watched influencers talk about how they stop allowing brands to send them PR. And I've allowed 2 companies so far send me PR. One was Teddy Blake and another one was Magic Bra, which is a strapless bra company. Teddy Blake I did because it was just a really cute handbag and I thought it was something that I could personally use in my wardrobe. I don't buy handbags that often, so it's kind of like a fun little, like, okay, I'll take that, why not? And then Magic Bra was something that I was just like, duh, I need strapless bras. Like, that's a necessity in my wardrobe, and yet again is something that I don't typically thrift or seek out at the thrift store. But anyways, because I collect so much clothing personally, sometimes it feels overwhelming. Like, it feels like a weird task to have to go through some of these clothes and sort them out. And I could just only imagine getting PR nonstop and just feeling like you have to put these clothes to some use. And sometimes that's kind of what I feel like. I feel like I go through so much clothing. And I mean, I've been doing this for a decade now, so I have seen probably 15,000 pieces of clothing, and these are all secondhand. And sometimes when I just think about that, and I think about how much clothing I processed and how much stuff I get that feels like it's borderline free, like especially when I'm doing the bins. You know, most of my bins hauls cost me anywhere from $20 to $50, and I get at least 20 pieces, we'll say, sometimes more. Like, that's wild. That's so much clothing. It is so much clothing. So anyways, yeah, I don't know why I went down this tangent. I don't even know if I'll include this in the video, but sometimes I just feel overwhelmed with the amount of clothes that I process. And sometimes I like to think about that in terms of, you know, when I first started YouTube, I was like, what's going to be my angle? Do I want to take PR? Do I want to take stuff? Do I want to promote things? Like, where will I go with this? And I think one of the things that I thought deeply about is the fact that I process so many clothes as it is. I couldn't imagine taking in more. I really couldn't. I don't know how I would do it. It just would become so overwhelming. And I'm so in tune with the idea of just constantly recycling these clothes anyways. Like, I've said this time and time again, but I'll wear this shirt for, you know, probably like 10, 15 more times, and then I'll sell it again. Like, it's just that circular, you know, circular economy thing. That's what we got going here. That was a strange tangent, but that's just where my brain's at. So I'm gonna go grab those clothes and try those on and decide what I want to keep. I got these knowing that I am back at the bins, like I'm back in my bins life, and I really wanted some like utility cargo style pants, but I don't think I'm gonna keep these because I hate wearing belts. I know, that sounds silly. Like, what fashion person doesn't like wearing belts? Belts are such a fun accessory, but I hate wearing them. Hard truth. This definitely requires a belt. But I just really like the skater style fashion that it has. When I go to the bins, I instantly turn into a skater kid. When I go to the regular thrift stores, I'm like, ooh, look at me, I'm girly. Two different types of personalities, man, and I embody both of them. But like, who wants to get, you know, dressed up for the bins? Ooh, I messed up the thing on this side. Not fixing it. Too much effort. See, this is why I don't like belts. This is why. Yeah, I feel like if these were just slightly smaller, they would be super bad A. But they're not quite the fit that I was going for, and I just ran into my fan. That's great. Okay, next up are some Lee relaxed denim jeans. These, I think, are a yes. This is a good look. I like the fit. Yeah, this is perfect. They're comfortable. I might actually consider, because I need denim shorts, I might consider cutting these off. Okay, this one is a no-brainer, but I did pick this up knowing it was a little bit of a project. Not much of a project, but I need to fix the little hook closure right here, and I need 2 more buttons to replace these down here. But after that, this is such a stunning 1950s dress. This is by Mr. Mort. I'm gonna put the label on the screen somewhere because it deserves a moment in itself, but I couldn't believe this. This is just so beautiful. I do feel like the proper way to wear it would probably be with like a little bit of tulle lace underneath to make this a little bit more of a circle skirt. Like, that's just the style. But once I repair this, oh my gosh, like look at the embroidery on this. I was so afraid to washing this that this was gonna color bleed, but it didn't. It did not. It was perfect. Okay, this is a dream dress. This is so beautiful. Mr. Mort, I wish you were still around because your dresses were fantastic, okay? You guys like how my style just skips? Like, it makes absolutely no sense. I wish someone would make a name for this. Like, my need and desire to be a skater girl slash, I don't know. Like, I'm just a gross, disgusting person that digs through heaps of clothing at the bins. But then on my days off, I just want to dress up in fancy, beautiful dresses and pretend like I live a double life. I'm going to go ahead and end the vlog here now that the secret is out that I am moving, and I'm very, very excited, but also very, very chaotic at the moment. If you see anything in the shop, I am looking to get rid of some inventory. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.